Welcome everybody to PlayitRight TV. I'm Diane Casilla with my co-host Kinito Henson. Hi Kinito. We're so
Hi there.
excited today because we have, of course, some phenomenal people involved in sports. Well, because of the outbreak of the Omicron variant, this has really affected the staging of sports events here in the Philippines, particularly the PBA, which has had to postpone its games indefinitely. And here joining us tonight, we have, first of all, the chairman of the Games and Amusements Board, Mitra. Good evening, sir. Thank you. And then
Hi, good
of
evening,
course,
and
we
good evening,
have
everyone.
the very fit-looking, hardworking commissioner of the PBA, Mr. Willie Marcial. Hi, Willie. Always good to see you.
Hello.
And Kinito, we're so excited because we're going to get some good medical advice. He is, of course, the medical consultant of the PBA. He's a member of the FIBA Medical Commission. He's been in 7 Olympics, president of the Surfing
Great.
Association, Dr. George Canlas. Hi,
Good
George.
evening.
Welcome to PlayitRight TV.
It's a pleasure to be here. Good evening.
Good evening, everyone.
So,
And,
Kinito, I'm going to start.
well, I was just gonna say, pagpasensya po nyo ako at medyo namamaos tayo because of the weather, because of Omicron, so many other things. But I'm here because we all love sports. And when I found out that we were going to have Chairman Baham, Commissioner Willie, Doc George in our show, how can you miss this show? This is the best. We're talking about the greatest and the latest. We're going to find out from these great people the latest in sports in our country. Okay, Diane, fire the
Okay, I'm
first
going to
questions.
start with I'm gonna start with Chairman Mitra. So, I mean, prior to the super outbreak, of course, the last time I talked to Willie, he said that they had requested from the games from the GAB the permission to be able to restart the PBA and other pro sports, and you actually gave the go signal under the full bubble setup. Can you clarify that? Can you explain the details of that setup for professional sports in the country for the PBA and other sports?
Yeah, thank you very much, Diane. For the others that are not really that aware yet, the Games and Amusements Board is under the Office of the President, and it's part of the group that made the joint admin order. We do not really make the decisions, but IATF has empowered us to implement a joint admin order that was done with the Philippine Sports Commission and the Department of Health. And under that joint admin order, contact sports shall be allowed, even level 3, if it's in a
Mm.
bubble. And yes, we have already written the PBA. It was the PBA who wrote us, and then we just replied. And as usual, it's mutual admiration, cooperation, and of course, we always consider the welfare of our professional athletes, among others. Ahead.
Yes, but you what kind of a bubble setup will it be? Because will it be? I mean, it's not going to be like the first conference that the PBA had when they all had to stay uh, in Clark. What kind of a bubble will it be?
That's a full bubble. It's you're playing right beside or wherever you're staying wherever you're playing. So parang gano'n, ano. Medyo semi-bubble na nga yung nasa Clark eh. But this one kasi the PBA is proposing and has already implemented a home venue home type C
Mm.
bubble. And we're okay with that because the IATF has given a go signal, and we're just here to implement. IATF is very busy, and they need government agencies to help them implement their policies. And we've worked well with the PBA and the other leagues, and so far we have no problems. And the suspension of the playing came from the PBA itself. It's like a self-regulation. So we'd like to commend the PBA
Right.
Hindi na po sa amin ang galing yun. Sila na mismo nagsabi. And ayan, we have talked several times and agreed that, especially of course with Kinito, that we don't want sports to be the super spreader. And we don't want to put our guards down, and we don't want to be blamed, no? We don't want to be blamed. So it's better safe than sorry. Sabi nga nila, it's better to be at this time in age, it's okay to be OA. So mabuti nang they're self-regulating. Thank you to the PBA and of course sila Doc for advising sila Kong Willie.
Thank you for that, Chairman. Si Coach Willie naman, if I may ask, no? Dito sa atin, alert level 3, na-postpone nga mga games natin indefinitely. Hihintayin ba natin yung alert level 2 uli bago tayo makapag-umpisa ng ating Governor's Cup? Or are we going to find out what measures we can take to play even under alert level 3? Commissioner.
Unang-una, nagpapasalamat ako Chairman Mitra na binigyan kami ng approval na maglaro ng bubble, yung home, venue home. Pinayagan din kami ni Mayor Vico kahit hindi pa kami sumusulat na pwede maglaro ang PBA. PBA lang ang pwede maglaro ng contact sports. So pinayagan na kami. Salamat na ako kay Mayor Vico, kay Chairman Mitra. Ang bago mangyari yon Tuesday morning, Kinito, hindi pa naglalabas si Chairman Mitra ng desisyon. Kausap ko na yung technical committee. Sinabi ko sa kanila na natatakot ako sa pangyayari. Parang lumalala. So humingi akong konsulta kay Dr. Canlas. Sabi ko, Doc, parang ayaw ko muna maglaro. Ano sa tingin mo? Sabi ni Dr. Canlas, tama. At ginawa mga 2 to 3 weeks, bababa rin naman yan. So, from there, tumawag ako ng meeting with the team managers, tumawag ako ng meeting sa safety officers ng mga teams na kinuha ko yung kanilang mga pananaw. Na ano ba sa palagay nyo, parang ayoko maglaro, nakakatakot, kasi yung peace of mind ng mga players, pag-uwi ng bahay, sabi nila, yun din ang kanilang panalaw na sana ihinto muna natin. So lumabas na nga yung desisyon ni Chairman Mitra na nagpapasalamat kami. Nagtawag na kami ng board meeting kinabukasan. In-explain ko na sa governors na sa akin, sa palagay ko, kung ako itigil muna natin. Kasi parang ako, pupunta ako sa venue, tapos hindi ako sigurado, may makikita ko mga tao, araneta, media, players, staff, mga teams. So pag uwi ko, sigurado akong safe ako. Lalis na yung mga players kasi may contact sila. Sinabi ko sa mga governors na okay lang ako sa mga players kung sila magkakasakit. Pero kung mahahawaan nila yung mga anak nila at mga pamilya nila, palagi hindi ko kaya yon. So, nakumbinsi ko naman. Hindi, karamihan talaga, halos lahat na okay naman sila dito. Ayan.
Commissioner, matanong ko lang, no? Last Monday is the regular day kung saan lahat ng mga player nagtetest ng RT-PCR. Meron na ba ho tayong resulta sa mga testing that happened last Monday? Kung meron nagkaroon ng positive, marami ba o konti lang o wala? Ano ho ang situation?
May mga nag-positive sa mga teams. Kahit sa PBA Commissioner's Office, may nag-positive. May nag-positive sa mga referees. So, bago nga mangyari yun, buti na lang. Pero hindi pa na-aprobahan ng board. Buti na lang nung Tuesday, kasi nalaman namin yan, Doc, di ba, mga Tuesday afternoon na yung mga resulta. Pero doon pa lang, yung morning, sinabi ko na siguro mas magandang wag muna. Kahit pinayagan na nga kami ni Chairman Mitra ng home venue home, pati ni na Mayor Vico, mas maganda yata na buti lang sa meeting, habang nagbi-meeting kami, kinukumbinsi ko sila, eksakto naman, nag 10,700. So sabi ko sa governor, 10,500 tayo ngayon, no? So, hindi sila naman gusto din naman nila yung safety at protection ng mga players.
A question naman for Dr. Canlas. Doc, you have been the PBA medical czar or advisor consultant ever since the Clark bubble. You've been on top of this situation. You've had sleepless nights taking care of players, coaches, and the PBA owes you a big debt of gratitude for the care and concern you've shown. But in this particular case right now, with so many cases, how different is it from how it was in the Clark bubble and in the other conference where we had first the games in Inares and then the games in Bacolor, and then now the games being postponed at the Smart Araneta Coliseum? How different is this situation now from the two previous conferences, Doc?
Hi, good evening. First and foremost, before I get to your question, Kinito, I'd
Yeah.
like to thank Chairman Baham because it was his approval from the very, very first bubble in Clark and working with them that we got the Clark bubble going forward. And that caught the
Yeah.
attention of FIBA. And from
Yeah.
there, nag-offshoots na yung cycling, yung swimming, the volleyball from that very first bubble. And we've been working hand in hand with Gab, and I'm very thankful for the foresight that they've had. Now, I'll go back to your question. One answer, Kinito. That's why I'm more relaxed now. We're vaccinated. Uh, the PBA is 99.999% vaccinated. So I'm not really that worried. That's why I told Willie, sige, let's do the 14-day rest. After that, babalik naman yung mga nag-positive na eh. Our problem was we couldn't control them, and this is across the board. Like I said earlier, all the families I'm handling now with COVID and advising, it was done over the holidays because they had parties, they had get-togethers, and we couldn't control that with the players. Uh, Once we control their infection and infectiousness, which is in about 10 days, 12 days time, we should be okay. So the big difference, that's why I'm a little campante, I'm a little comfortable, is because of the vaccination. It really matters.
Mm.
That's why with that, we're more confident. We have more access to testing now. The PBA has a very good protocol. Just to inform you, because I have monthly meetings, recently weekly meetings with Dr. John DeFiore because of FIBA. He's the sports medicine officer of the NBA.
NBA.
Just to tell you, when we met, I think December, I questioned him because the NBA did not test vaccinated people. They said it wasn't needed. They'll just test them if they're close contacts and everything. But as of last week, they're testing regularly everyone. So in effect, parang sumusunod sila sa atin na we tested everyone on a regular basis, even if we're vaccinated. And before every game, Willie has made the structure before every game, everybody's tested with antigen testing. Again, yun lang Kinito medyo looking forward ng PBA. Kasi like 6 months ago, nobody really bothered with antigen testing. But the PBA made antigen testing a basis for their games. And right now, everybody's into antigen testing. So I'm very thankful for Willie and Chairman Baham for agreeing with the protocols we've had. And they're pretty good. That's why I'm a little more comfortable with the postponement of 10 to 14 days, and then we'll start again. And I don't think it will be a problem because we're vaccinated.
Yes, please. Chairman.
Yeah, we also want to thank Doc Canlas for making life easier for the Games and Amusement Board. Ganyan talaga eh. Pagka maayos, the less headaches and less risks for us, no? Kasi kami ang mananagot eh. We will be blamed, kumbaga, kung may magka-problema. But thank you, Doc. Thank you for working very closely with us. We also learn from you, and other teams, other leagues also learn from what you've done.
From
benefited
this
na.
conversation, Dayan, ang sarap ng kwentuhan because lahat sila nagkakaintindihan and they're all cooperating with each other. My question here is, Doc, nabanggit nyo, 99.99% of the players are vaccinated. From Willie, balita ko 100% na because okay na si Rafi Rivis, okay na din yung Semerad Brothers. Mukhang 100% na ba tayo? Okay.
Doc, 100% na.
Okay.
No,
Nandyan na si Rivis.
I meant the 99 point.
Brothers.
Kasi
Okay
yung
na
full,
din ako sa 99.9. Okay na rin
kasi
ako doon.
yung fully
Pero,
vaccinated status hindi pa naaabot eh. Pag naabot nila yung 2 weeks after then
Yung second
fully
vaccine,
vaccinated.
tama.
Yeah.
Tama. Yung mga Semerad yata, iisa lang yata eh. Hinihintay pa
They
yung
still have to
second.
be fully vaccinated.
Tama. That's
after
right.
14
Yeah.
days. Tama. Okay.
My question to Chairman Baham, before I turn you over to Dayan again, is, Chairman, the business of bubble, no bubble, is this something that's going to be imposed if in
Normal.
case we still are at alert level 3? Will GAB impose a full bubble on the PBA to resume games or hindi naman po?
So it's not just the GAB, but it's the DOH and the PSC that did the joint admin order, and that will really need to be followed. And unless there are new amendments to the joint admin order, we have to abide by that. Like what Com Willie was saying earlier, that ayaw nilang i-compromise yung health ng pamilya ng mga players, diba? And all these things. So that's our job, that's our mandate, no? So better that we are complying than finding a way out, no? Because other leagues also look at the PBA. A lot of them look up to the PBA. And if they say that, bakit PBA pwede, bakit kami hindi? Then we're gonna get into trouble, no? So, ganun lang talaga. Since kayo yung nauna, kayo yung tinitingnan.
Pero pag baba naman sa alert level 2,
So,
then it will be okay.
I guess wala namang problema na yan.
Okay. Dayan?
yeah, so come Willie. So, you're on pause right now, 12 to 14 days, sabi ni Dr. Canlas. So, you've been through this a couple of times, pero nag-iba na rin ang behavior ng bagong variant, diba? So, what are the steps that you're going to take, from here on to decide when you would be comfortable to restart the Governor's Cup?
Siguro kasi
Ano yung mga steps?
may imports kami. May imports kami na pinapasweldohan. Siguro by crucial by Feb. So Feb, yun ang turning point kung paano na ba tatakbo ang liga. Bababa or hindi, baka umabot ng March. Yun ang problema namin eh. Kasi katulad sinabi ko sa mga governors, humingi ako ng pasensya kasi dire-diretso yung sweldo ng mga players. Meron pa silang mga imports na pinapasweldo. So, humingi muna ako ng pasensya sa kanila na baka pwedeng for a month tingnan muna natin. Katulad sinabi ni Dr. Canlas, sabi sa akin, tingnan mo mga 2 to 3 weeks. Bababa na yan. Sana.
Yeah. And Dr. Canlas, given the nature of this, yes?
Yeah.
Baham, you want to say something?
Si Com Willie kasi said sometime maybe February, no? I just want to inform everybody that volleyball is scheduled to the volleyball league is supposed to start sometime in February as announced by Sir Palu, as well as Philippines Football League. So lahat sila puro nakaabang ng February, and we're hoping na bumaba na nga po sana yung cases.
UAAP and NCAA February din, di ba? Supposed to be.
End of February, March. And then
Kausap ko sila March.
Yeah.
March.
we have the FIBA leg end of Feb. Dito 'yon. Meron ata. Yeah, we have.
Mm,
Meron
Mm.
tayong FIBA
wow.
end of Feb.
And
So
So
February will be a very busy
that's all gonna be
month for sports.
dependent on our case. Yeah, but that's
Uh,
gonna be dependent on our cases, no? Kasi as of now, it's like doubling and doubling,
I'm
like
quite confident will
unbelievable,
be better.
no?
I'm quite confident will be better by then.
Okay. So,
I'm
Dr.
pretty confident
Canlas,
about.
given the behavior of this variant now, what are going to be the protocols, or like, what are you going to be
Okay,
recommending to the PBA and to the other sports?
we actually redid our health protocols. We've shortened the for positives. We've shortened the time period of isolation. This is in accordance with what is happening across the world, all over the world, that they've
Mm-hmm.
drastically shortened the isolation period because we've known through science that the most infectious part is probably the first 5 days of symptoms. After that, it drops dramatically.
Mm.
So we based it around that. Uh, we want them playing when they're non-infectious, and again with vaccination, I'm quite confident. Now, if you look at the Omicron virus in South Africa, even now in
Mm-hmm.
UK, after a few weeks, bumabagsak na siya. It just burns out. If you ask
Mm-mm.
my scientific opinion, for the vaccinated, this is the we might be starting the endemic phase of the virus. So I think the next 2 weeks, 3 weeks will be vital. What we're dealing with now, remember, what we're dealing with now are infections that happened during the Christmas break. Yung
Yes.
get-togethers, yung ganon. So expect and since we're tightening up on an alert level, people are more cautious now. I expect the numbers to steadily decrease because we didn't have control
By
over the Christmas period. I think in 2 weeks' time, honestly, I think in 2 weeks' time, once this present infection rate is has burned out, we should be getting better.
So you lowered the isolation period to 5, no? 5? Did
No,
you say
7 days.
5, or is it
7 days.
just 5
PBA
now,
7 days.
or?
PBA 7 days. USA is toying with 5 days, but I think it's safe to say 7 days, and then we test. Our new protocol is 7 days isolation if you're positive, asymptomatic, and then we test you
Okay.
regularly until the 10th day. If you have two negative consecutive, we clear you for practice, but you take antigen until the 10th day. Now, after the 10th day, after an infection,
Ah,
uh,
okay.
you're cleared. You're cleared. So we're getting them practicing as early as the
Hmm.
8th day after infection.
After
about
two PCRs, they can already practice.
Actually, antigen lang.
To
antigen.
antigen.
Yeah.
Antigen lang. I have to warn you, no, when you're positive, the PCR is iffy because our PCR machines are so sensitive. They're
That's
picking up
true.
virus that you're not infectious anymore. It's a matter of viral
Mm.
load and infection rates. We have to deal with that, and we know the science of the virus more now, and we'll be more productive as a sport, PBA.
Doc, you mentioned something about the FIBA games in February. And
Yes.
there's talk that assuming things are normalized and we go to alert level 2, that the FIBA World Cup qualifying games involving the Philippines, South Korea, India, and New Zealand may be held at the Smart Araneta Coliseum with a live audience. Is that rumor true? Is there a basis for that?
We're planning for that, but we also
Okay.
have a plan B for a bubble. Yes, that's being planned. That's in the works. Uh,
Mm.
but we're also planning a plan B for a bubble in Clark. But it's possible. It's very possible.
So that plan A will mean maybe Novotel for the 4 teams, and then walk over to Araneta and then back to the
Yes.
hotel. Make it very,
Yes.
Yes.
very easy. and
Yes.
accessible for them to go to the playing venue, which is also the practice venue, since there will only be 4 teams.
Yes, and if you remember, in FIBA, we're quite strict. Even before the players come in, we've screened them out. So basically, it's almost a bubble setup. If it's at the problem there would be allowing the audience, and we will have to work with the LGUs and DOH
Yes.
on how much audience
Mhm.
would be allowed.
Commissioner Willie, maraming nagsasabi that in the PBA, there are a lot of teams that are still groping kasi hindi pa sila nagje-gel. Yung Blackwater, marami silang injured players. Yung mga team nagpapalitan ng imports. Is it safe to say that some teams are welcoming, in fact, this break to be able to generate some chemistry and bring some new imports in? Balita ko, 4 yata ang teams na nagpalit na ng import.
Yeah, Kinito, can you hear me?
Yes, please.
Tama ba ako
Yung
kung
tanong
magiging
lang, Commissioner.
advantage? Yung
Kasi
advantage sa ibang teams?
baka yung Blackwater baka makapanalo na.
Mm-mm.
Kasi sabi nila makakabalik na si Kelly Nabong, yung Baser Amer makakalaro na. Tapos yung bagong import nila si Glover na mukhang magaling ha. Yung Northport, ewan ko lang kung kailan darating yung kanilang bagong import. So all of these things add to the drama of the PBA because ngayon even more the fans are going to be saying, aba, pagbalik itong mga team na to, mukhang baka lumakas, baka magbago ang ihip ng hangin. Especially for those teams na wala pang panalo like Northport at saka Blackwater. Ano kaya?
Tama. Kasi yung mga na-injured, dahan-dahan mag-heal yun eh. Okay. Katulad si
Oo nga.
Chairman Mitra, nanood sa amin nung sa Inares. Chinichil niya
Inares.
Blackwater. Chinichil niya Blackwater. Talagang, walang halong biro yun. Chinichil niya Blackwater. So, pag gumaling na lahat yung mga players at nagpalit na ng import, balita ko magaling ang import ng Blackwater, mag-iba tema. Na palagay ko, manonood na sa amin si Chairman Mitra.
Sa tingin niyo, Commissioner, yung balance of power, yung competition ngayon sa Governor's Cup, ang sabi sa amin ni Coach Yeng Giao, yung standings ngayon do not reflect the true picture of what might happen later pagdating ng playoffs. Magbabago yan. Kasi yung mga teams lalakas. Yung San Miguel, natalo ng 2 beses for the first 2 games. Pagkatapos, 3 beses nanalo. Things are happening so fluidly. I don't know for what reason, no? Maybe because of the gelling situation. Pero baka makabuti ito, no? Towards the long run, players will be safer, players will be healthier. I think pagbalik ng PBA, baka mas gumanda pa. Sana lang magkaroon na ng audience ulit. Commissioner.
Yes.
So, sa akin, maganda yun sa mga na-injured na mga players sa nagpalit ng imports. Malaking bagay yun. Lalo sa mga ibang mga teams na palit ng lineup. So yung mga chemistry nila, nagje-gel pa sila. Yung sinabi ni Coach Eng, palagay ko, hindi ako na sinasabi niya magbabago. Malakas talaga yung team niya. Magaling yung import niya.
Nagpapadehado lang yun, Commissioner.
Sir,
Chairman.
Yes,
Okay.
Chairman.
Yeah. Actually, kaya ako nagpunta nung minsan sa Inares was first was to inform Com Willie na pwede nang maglaro with audience, no? Second was not really nag-cheer sa Blackwater but actually medyo nangangantsaw na finally sana magkaroon din ng panalo, no? And ang masama, pagdating namin, lamang sila. Pagdating namin, medyo nagbago yung time.
Lumayo yung kalaban.
But I was going to relate the discussion with what is happening in the NBA, no? There are strong teams that have some players that have been infected. And so they're not playing now. So nagbabago-bago din. And dito naman sa atin, sabi nga
Yeah.
ni Doc kanina, sometimes I feel that we're doing it better than some of the other countries. Mas mahigpit tayo, mas matibay yung protocols natin. And kung sa tingin ninyo sa NBA, medyo, kung sa tingin natin nagbabago, ito mas gigil, mas nagbabago rin nga ang sitwasyon
Yeah.
sa PBA.
So Commissioner, it was so exciting kasi nakabalik na yung mga fans, di ba, finally. And then ngayon, nag-pause. Pero pagbalik, you're gonna, because right now, the teams are not even practicing at all, right? So you're going to start, pag okay na, start again with scrimmages, 4 players with the coach, and ganon ba ulit? And then, you're gonna work towards having an audience, but it probably won't happen right away.
Yes, pero katulad sinabi ni Chairman Mitra, pwedeng 30% audience, depende sa LGUs. So kakausapin namin yung LGUs kung pwede, at yung yung sitwasyon, hindi pa talaga natin malaman kung sana nga bumaba na para pati yung mga fans nandun din nanonood sa atin.
Is there a possibility kaya, Willie, na maski na sa alert level 3, baka magkaroon ng paraan na ang PBA makalaro on a home venue home system? Ang sabi ni Chairman Mitra, meron daw JAW. Pero baka mukha yatang superseded na yung JAW na yun? Ano ba ang status nun?
Yun ang sinasabi sa akin kasi na supersede John nung luma. Pero ang sinasabi ko nga sa mga tao, kahit na supersede pa yon o whatever, kung anong sabihin ng GAB, yun ang kailangan natin sundin. So, tama, na supersede na yun eh. Sinabi ng IATF sa amin, basta okay yung LGUs, okay ka na, PBA. Pero sinasabi ko naman sa kanila, kahit ganon, kailangan sumunod tayo sa GAB. So, yun nga, ewan ko kung papayag si chairman, balang, pero tingnan natin, di ba? Hindi pa natin alam. Pero kailangan kami sumunod sa GAB.
Yung sa amin naman, I'm sorry, I'm just wearing a different hat, no? I used to be a fan and a follower of the PBA, and I will be in the next couple of months kasi patapos na ako sa GAB. But while we're here, ang sinusunod kasi namin yung joint admin order. Ngayon, totoo yun nag-meeting yung IATF with Willie and us. And sinabihan kami doon na, okay na yung home venue home. But, we'd like to see a paper informing or allowing PBA, the IATF paper, allowing the PBA and informing us na ganon. Kasi siyempre, we just want to be safe. Pati yung PBA, pinangangalagaan din natin. But as of now, yun ang hawak namin na legal document. And I heard it myself. USEC of DOH said it na okay na yan. But we still just want to get that copy of a piece of paper of an order para safe lahat, diba? Legal lahat. We're happy na we're working very closely together, but we don't want any problems or we don't want to be blamed later on na pinalusot, bakit yung PBA ganito. Alam mo naman, may mga nagsiselos-selos din. Hindi naman nawawala yan And bakit yung PBA nabibigyan ng green light, bakit kami hindi? Bakit sila may audience, kami wala? Yung mga ganon, diba? So, we cannot just be talking to Willie and Doc, no? We have to be talking to all the leagues that are under the umbrella now of professional playing as professionals, no. So we have to balance things off. We don't want to be. We have never been yung balakid sa mga gusto ng sports leagues, no. We always try to find a way na magkaroon ng solusyon ang sitwasyon.
Doc George, I just want to ask you, you've been in how many Olympics? Is it 7 or 8 Olympics?
No, it was my 8th Olympic.
Your 8th Olympics.
Tokyo was my 8th Olympic.
Wow.
Out of your experience in the Olympics, have you ever experienced anything like what we are all experiencing now in the PBA with a bubble, semi-bubble, and home venue, home setup?
Well, Tokyo was basically that, no? It was basically venue, hotel, venue. My problem was I had two venues. I had the 3x3 and the 5-on-5. But having
Mm.
everything else, it's been so long. It's been so long. Like when I was talking to the UAAP board, naisip ko, hindi ko na ma-imagine yung isang UAAP game with 20,000 fans. I
Oh,
can't really imagine it now because
Yeah.
it's been so long we've been on these tight protocols. Hopefully we get to it. Maganda nga yung nangyari sa PBA. Willie, naka 5,000 fans na tayo, no? Approximately in one game, which is, I
Yes.
think, very good. It's
oh.
very good.
4-8. 4-8.
4-8.
Yes.
Yeah, that was pretty good. That was a good start. And I
Yeah.
think with the Omicron, it's a milder, it's faster. I think we'll get there faster than how it was 2, 3, 4 months ago. Again, may boosters tayo.
Yeah.
And I think Willie is working for the boosters of the PBA community. That will help us a lot. That will help us a lot.
Nung una po,
Yes.
when yeah, nung una po when everybody was planning to resume, no, nobody expected that audience will be allowed. And when audience was allowed, we had a lot of inquiries. Dumami. Kasi nga, as we all know, yung audience, yung paying patrons, nakakatulong din sa financials nung mga liga, no? And nung wala yan, walang revenue scheme na pumapasok. Pero nung pinayagan yan, everybody wanted to start up. Oy, meron na, may audience na. So, meron na tayong bagong revenue. May ma-generate na bagong revenue. But now that we've gone up to level 3, medyo back to basic na naman. And hopefully, mag-resume na para pumayag din.
Dayan, I was just going to say, we're down to our last 5 minutes. So let's take this opportunity to ask each of our guests for their final parting shots. And we want to thank you very much for your participating in this show. First, Chairman Mitra, for all the good things that Gab has done for Philippine sports. We had 27 boxing shows last year. We're ending up the year with 23 fighters in the top 10 rankings of the 4 governing organizations and 4 world champions. So many fighters lined up for world title shots. Chairman Mitra, we hope you will stay at the GAB, no matter who is our new president.
We're very happy that we have friends like you, Diane, to also help us along the way. I think that the situation really has to. A lot of people look up to PBA and sports as entertainment and may show some stability. We just want to make sure that everything is in order and that we will not create any problems, and we don't want to be blamed. I think that in the coming days, we will continue to experience some difficulty in trying to resume all of this. Siyempre, the primordial priority of the government is really the health situation. And yes, all of us may agree that sports is an integral part of nation building. Some people would still try to not include sports as one of the priorities. But we don't want to create any problems for them. So we'll take care of ourselves and look after each other and work together. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chairman. Commissioner Willie, congratulations.
Sports is life. Sports is life.
Si Commissioner Willie naman, nice ko lang
Sports
sabihin.
gives us a sense of life.
Yeah, congratulations, Commissioner, because
Yes,
sa Governance Cup,
congratulations.
zero positive. Zero positive tayo. We played 26 games. Nagkaroon tayo ng magandang reception from the audience. Your perseverance in pushing through with the league is exemplary. Hindi lang yun. Yung puso at yung care at concern mo sa mga players and the fans is something that's very admirable. Kanya, Commissioner Willie, the floor is yours.
Unang-unang nagpapasalamat ako sa inyong apat. Honestly, ang laking tulong nyo sa PBA, Kinita, Dayan, sa mga media, pag may kailangan na akong paratingin sa mga fans, kayong unang-unang kung nakakausap. Dr. Canlas, ang laking tulong sa amin. Talagang kung wala si Dr. Canlas, siguro lahat na kami positive. So malaking bagay sa amin si Dr. Canlas. Kaya sinasabi ko sa team managers, nandun si Dr. Canlas, nandun din ang mga safety officers. Pagdating sa science, pagdating sa health, ang commission dyan, si Dr. Canlas. Pag sinabi sa akin ni Dr. Canlas, huwag ka maglaro, hindi kami maglalaro. Pag sinabi ni Dr. Canlas, maglaro ka, maglalaro kami. Pagdating dyan, si Dr. Canlas ang commissioner. Si Chairman Baham Anes, lagi kami nag-uusap, Chairman, tulungan mo ako dito. O sige, anong gusto mo? O ito. Lagi, bago pa mangyari, nag-uusap kami, siguro mga madaling araw. Buti nga, gising pa siya ng mga 1 or 2. Chairman, anong gagawin ko dito? O ito gawin natin. Chairman, tulungan mo ako. Ang laking tulong. Anes, kayong apat, ang laking tulong sa akin. Wala akong masasabi kung hindi sa mga fans na patuloy na humingi kami ng dasal. Salamat sa mga suporta nyo, sa mga komento nyo. Wala na ibang masabi na kung sinabi ko noon, pinakamasaya kong Pasko noon ay natapos tayo. Ngayon, medyo masaya pa rin naman ako na may konting basketball pa rin.
Salamat, Commissioner. And Dr. Canlas,
Thank you for staying
the floor is
strong.
yours. Yeah, Dr. Canlas, I also want to say that I'll say this for the
Yes.
first time. I tested positive for COVID last January 2nd. I'm on my way to my recovery, although my voice is still very hoarse. But without the help of Dr. Canlas, I wouldn't be recovering. So thank you very much, Doctor. The floor is yours.
Yeah.
Well, I just want
Dr.
you to know.
Canlas, yeah, you're
Yes, Dayan.
Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I just want you to know that these two people, Gab, Chairman Mitra, and PBA, Willie Marcial, are what kept sports alive in the country through the hard times. And I'm talking of the Clark bubble. Not only that, it is the PBA is one of the very first, if not the first activity in the country that told us now we can live with the virus and function with the virus. And with safely did that with health protocols. We did that in Bacolor, and we were doing that with the audience recently. And we'll get back to that. Just be safe, take precautions, and we will be there. The light at the end of the tunnels there will be there, and hopefully Chairman Baham and Com Willie will continue their advocacy of sports in the country. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. George.
Thank you.
Yeah, Diane, you have the last say.
Well, I just want to thank these three gentlemen for being so good at what they do, and it's really been such a huge help, not just to the PBA, but to all sports in general. And, Sinito and I, we are just like you, passionate about sports. Basta tuloy ang sports, tuloy ang inspirasyon, tuloy ang buhay, at tuloy ang ating fight para magtagumpay. And hopefully, this will continue. Thank you so much, and we look forward to watching the games. Come, Willie. Thank you for always being so available and staying strong. God bless, and we hope Kinito and I can talk to you in another episode on PlayitRight pag nag-restart na ang mga sports. Again.
Malapit na yan.
Thank you very
Chairman.
much.
Thank you, Commissioner. Thank you, Dr. George. Thank you for everything.
Thank you.
God bless all of you. And thank you for staying with us on Play It Right. This is Kinito Hansen.
I'm Diane Castillo. We hope to see you again here on PlayitRight TV.